are talking Daredevil Season 3, the premiere series out of the Marvel Netflix pantheon of heroes. Daredevil certainly has been the most respected and consistent in regards to the quality of the shows that he's put out. And this comes out just after we've heard that both Luke Cage and Iron Fist have been cancelled. So here we are in a 13-episode run, Season 3, and this one takes elements from the series Born Again from the comics, although it's not a direct adaptation. And this really, at the start of the story, we have Matt Murdock at his lowest, kind of like really, rescued from the events of the Defenders. At his kind of lowest point. At the same time, we also are seeing Kingpin's kind of like re-rise to power and how he's the master manipulator and he's using his head as his most kind of deadly weapon here. We were also introduced to classic Marvel villain Bullseye, who we did see, of course, in the 2003 Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. And here he's very well played. It's a very kind of different sort of take on the character, which I really liked. Now, I'm not going to go into any more kind of spoilers or any plot details outside of that, but let me tell you what worked and what didn't work with this particular series. Overall, this is a great series. This is to me, I think, the best season of Netflix Marvel that we've had so far. It's certainly my favourite. And what worked for me, well, just the way these characters absolutely pop off screen, and every episode is one of these ones where you really want to watch the next episode, where it really invests you into kind of getting across that to that next episode, and that is down to the acting. Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays the Kingpin, who is really a co-lead in this series, excuse me, is so compelling as Kingpin, as Wilson Fisk, an absolutely fantastically realised character with layers, with a level of intelligence and maturity that you kind of don't see in superhero TV shows and that. Also, you really kind of, I've got to say, Charlie Cox's Daredevil is an absolute treasure. You know, I think Kingpin's a more showy role, but you can't take anything away from Charlie Cox's Daredevil, who gives a great performance, and you know, you really are feeling his despair. And there are some great elements in this series where you really do feel like his back is against the wall, and how is he going to get out of these situations? I mean, you know that obviously that you're not going to kill off Daredevil, but there are plots in this series that you think, man, how's he going to get out of this? This is really, and it's kind of, I think the only other show that I would say I had that with the original Jessica Jones series, it's like, how is she going to defeat him? And that's the same feeling I got from this one. I really liked Bullseye. I thought Bullseye was a fantastic character, and the way he's portrayed, he's kind of giving his own episode in regards to his backstory, but I thought that was fantastically done as well. I thought he's kind of like, the way they kind of draw him as a kind of a guy who is on the knife edge of becoming a psychopath, and he's just kind of like staying on the right side of it. It's obviously his relationship with Kingpin which pushes him fully over the edge, basically, into going on to full kind of psycho kind of mode as well. I think the action here is fantastic. I think it ramps up every kind of aspect that we've seen in these Marvel Netflix shows. The hallway fight scenes is a really fantastic one here. You know, fantastically photographed and choreographed and everything like that. Absolutely great. But the story is what's absolutely compelling here. Now, what doesn't work for me, to be honest with you, my complaints are relatively minor. I do think, being a 13-episode series, there are a couple of episodes that feel a little bit kind of stretched out. In particular, there was one episode that focused on Karen Page, which I felt was unnecessary. Karen Page, to me, is not a character that I've particularly been fond of in this series. And pretty much a whole episode really kind of dedicated to her, I felt was unnecessary and just a kind of a way to kind of tread water. The end of that episode is very good, but the kind of the bulk of the episode, you just feel like you kind of want to get to the next point. It does the kind of what I'm noticing is the kind of the trick with Netflix now, where it will have a cliffhanger on an episode, and the next episode will just focus on someone else, and you'll have to wait till the episode after to kind of get the resolution of that episode. I've just noticed it with the Haunting of Hill House, and it's obviously Stranger Things, that famous kind of episode that would take place in another city, is a great example. That just seems to be the thing that Netflix likes to do. So it's a little bit of a trope that's kind of developing there that I kind of am not a huge fan of. The only other thing I would say was there's The little bit of conveniences here and there, in particular again with Karen Page's storyline, that I thought that were just a little bit kind of like, come on, that seems a little bit convenient at times. But overall, this is a fantastic series, and absolutely probably my favourite out of all of the kind of the Netflix seasons so far. I think maybe it could have done with maybe 2 episodes less, I think, would have been the ultimate, just to make it that little bit more punchy. Just at the end, it starts to feel like it's just kind of like maybe kind of being stretched out a little bit too much. But the end episode is great. I thought it was fantastic, and you know, I really enjoyed it. So this is essential viewing, not just if you're a superhero fan, but if you just like sort of quality television. I'll give this series an 8 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.